And we're going to look at lesson 3.2, module 3, lesson 2. The objective of this lesson is to solve multiplicative comparison word problems by applying the perimeter and area formulas. So we learned about those yesterday, and that was a review from 3rd grade also. We found perimeter has a few different formulas we can use, but to find the perimeter, we're going to add all the sides. So we can do that by adding the length plus the width plus the length plus the width. We could do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, or we could do 2 times the length plus width. Any of those formulas would get us the correct perimeter. If we wanted to find the area or the measure of the inside of a rectangle, we would multiply length times width. So remember, perimeter measures around the outside, and area measures the inside. So the first problem we're going to look at, a rectangle is 1 inch wide. It is 3 times as long as it is wide. What is its length? So we know that it's 1 inch wide, so I'm going to go ahead and just list what I know. Width equals 1 inch. It is 3 times as long as it is wide. What is its length? So our length is unknown. It's what we're solving for. But we do have some information in this problem that can help us. It's 3 times as long as it is wide, and we know that the width is 1 inch. So I know to find the length, it's going to be 3 times 1, which is 3 inches. If I wanted to draw a picture to model that, I know the width is 1 inch. And in my rectangle, it would take 3 of those 1 inch squares. So if each square was 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch, that would be a total of 3 inches. Okay, let's try another one. A rectangle is 2 meters wide. It is 4 times as long as it is wide. What is its length? I know the width. The width equals 2 meters, because it tells me a rectangle is 2 meters wide. It is 4 times as long as it is wide. I know that the width, it told me already that the width is 2 meters. So I do not know the length. That's what I'm solving for. What is the length? But the problem tells me that it is 4 times as long as it is wide. The width is 2 meters. We know that from our problem. So I would solve by finding 4 times 2 equals 8. Let's go back and look. I'm going to label these so that we can see where each part comes from. A rectangle is 2 meters wide. So that's where we got our width. A rectangle is 2 meters wide. Then it tells us it is 4 times as long. So here's 4 times as long as it is wide. Remember, here's where it tells us how wide it is. So I know I'm multiplying 4 times 2. 4 times 2 equals 8. So the length is equal to 8 meters. I know that my unit is meters because in the problem it gave me the width as meters. So my unit is meters. let's apply what we've been practicing to a word problem. Christine painted a mural with an area of 18 square meters and a length of 6 meters. What is the width of her mural? Her next mural will be the same length as the first, but 4 times as wide. What is the perimeter of her next mural? I'm going to have a lot going on there, so I'm going to break that down into each part. Christine painted a mural with an area of 18 square meters. So I'm going to list what I know. I know that the area of the first mural is 18 square meters and a length of 6 meters. Length equals 6 meters. And the question says, what is the width of her mural? So I'm going to stop right there. I'm solving for the width, and we'll go on to the next part in a few minutes. All right, so I know the area is 18 square meters. I know the length is 6 meters. I need to know the width. So I can use the area formula. Area equals length times width. I know that the area is 18 square meters. I know the length is 6 meters, but I do not know the width. I can solve for the width because I know that 6 times 3 equals 18. So the width is going to be 3 meters. So I've solved the first question. Now let's go on. Her next mural will be the same length as the first, but 4 times as wide. What is the perimeter of her next mural? Her next mural will be the same length as the first, so the length is going to be 6 meters because that's what it was in the first mural, but 4 times as wide. So the width is going to be 4 times as wide. So since it is 4 times as wide, 4 times as wide, the width was 3. So now I know that I will need to multiply 4 times 3 to get the width, which will be 12 meters. So her second mural, or her next mural, has a length of 6 meters, a width of 12 meters, and I need to find the perimeter of her next mural. So I'm going to do perimeter equals 2 times the length plus the width. The length is 6 meters. The width is 12 meters. So to find the perimeter, I'm going to do 2 times 6 plus 12. I need to add those two numbers together since they're in the parentheses first. That equals 18. And 2 times 18 is equal to 36. So the perimeter of her next mural will be 36 meters. Let's try one more. Sherry's rectangular garden is 8 square meters. The longer side of the garden is 4 meters. Nancy's garden is twice as long and twice as wide as Sherry's rectangular garden. Sherry's neighbor has a garden that is 3 times as long and 3 times as wide as her garden. Complete the table to show the relationship among the areas and perimeters of the 3 gardens. All right, so let's take what we know. Sherry's rectangular garden is 8 square meters. If it tells me 8 square meters, I know that that's going to have to be the area. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my table that's down here. So here's Sherry. The area is 8 square meters. The longer side of the garden is 4 meters. So the area equals the length times width. I know the area is 8. I know the longer side, which it doesn't tell me if it's length or width, but it doesn't matter as long as, because we're just multiplying them together. So I know one side is 4, and I'm missing 1. So 8 equals 4 times what? I know that 4 times 2 equals 8. So the missing side is going to be 2 meters. So now I'm going to use what I know to find the perimeter. Perimeter is 2 times the length plus the width. The length is 4. The width is 2. So I'll do 2 times 6. So that gives me a perimeter of 12 meters for Sherry's garden. Okay, I'm going to switch colors to go on to Nancy's. Nancy's garden is twice as long and twice as wide as Sherry's rectangular garden. So that's all it tells us about Nancy's garden. It's twice as long and twice as wide as Sherry's. I know Sherry's width was 2 meters. So if it's twice as wide, then Nancy's garden is going to have a width of 4 meters because 2 times 2 is 4. I'm sorry, that was the width. Okay, the length of Sherry's garden was 4 meters. It told us that in the problem. So 4 meters times 2 to find twice as long. 4 times 2 equals 8 meters. So Nancy's garden is 4 meters wide and 8 meters long. Find the area. Area equals length times width. So we'll do 4 for the width times 8. 4 times 8 is equal to 32. So the area of Nancy's garden is 32 square meters. Put that in the table, 32 square meters. Okay, now I need to find the perimeter of Nancy's garden. Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus the width. The length is 8 plus the width is 4. 2 times 8 plus 4 is 12. And 2 times 12 is 24. So Nancy's garden has a perimeter of 24 meters. Now we have to find the neighbors. Sherry's neighbor, now notice this says Sherry, so we're going back to the measurements from Sherry's garden, which is what we did first in purple. Sherry's neighbor has a garden 3 times as long and 3 times as wide as her garden. So we've got to go back to the measurements from Sherry's garden. 3 times as long, 3 times as wide. So we found over here the width of Sherry's garden was 2 meters. And the length, it told us, was 4 meters. So for her neighbor's garden, the width is going to be 3 times 2 meters. 3 times 2 is 6. The length is 4 meters, so 3 times the length, 3 times 4 meters, is going to be equal to 12 meters. So to find the area, area equals length times width. We'll do 12 times 6, and 12 times 6 is 72 square meters. Put that in our table. And then we'll find the perimeter. Perimeter is 2 times the length plus the width. The length is 6. The length is 12 and the width is 6, but it doesn't matter which, because we're adding, so we can reverse the order there. So 6 plus 12 is 18. I have to multiply that times 2 to find the perimeter. So the perimeter is going to be 36 meters. So there's our table. We've completed the perimeter and the area for all 3 of the gardens. So let's look at what our final question asks. It says, complete the table to show the relationship among the areas and perimeters of the 3 gardens. So I'm looking for a relationship between the perimeters, which were 12, 24, and 36 meters, and the areas, which were 8 square meters, 32 square meters, and 72 square meters. I'll take just a minute to look at that. All right, so let's talk about this for just a minute. Nancy's garden had an area of 32 square meters. We found right here, Nancy's garden had an area of 32 square meters. The neighbor's garden had an area of 72 square meters. So the length and the width of Nancy's garden were double or 2 times as big. Remember, we multiplied each times 2 to get from Sherry's garden to Nancy's garden. So we doubled that, but the area didn't double. 12 to get from the area of 8 to an area of 32, that's not doubled. It's actually quadrupled. It's 4 times as large. 8 times 4 gets me to 32. So you could put the area of Sherry's garden inside of Nancy's 4 times. So let's look at the neighbors. The length and the width of the neighbor's garden tripled. We multiplied it by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So let's see. Is the area of the neighbor's garden 9 times that of Sherry's? Sherry's is 8 square meters. 8 times 9 equals 72. So it did. It got 9 times bigger. So we could put 9 of Sherry's gardens inside the neighbor's garden. That's just something for you to think about. Okay. Now, I need you to work your lesson 2 problem set. So I'm going to insert a new page here. You're going to do your lesson 2 problem set. If you have your book at home, it's going to be in your Learn book. Maybe page number 9 The back of it is 10, and then you have questions on page 11 and the back of it, which is 12. The pages 9 through 12, I want you to complete all of it. I know 4 pages sounds like a lot, but it gives you a lot of working space. So you're going to do all of the problems in the Lesson 2 problem set. You do not have to turn that in to me right now. You can just work them out. I'm going to attach, just like I did yesterday, I'll attach the answer key so that you can check your answers, and you can bring that back to me whenever we come back to school. And if you're a virtual student, next time you come, you can bring your problem sets in for me to look at. All I need you to turn in today is going to be your exit ticket after you have completed the problem set and after you've checked your answers. So you'll do your exit ticket after your problem set, and that's how I'm going to know that you've done your work and that you understand what you're doing. We'll have a Zoom today from 1 to 2. If you have any questions, you can hop on the Zoom. If you understand what you're doing and you don't need help, you are not required to Zoom. If that time does not work for you, remember you can send me a private comment in Google Classroom. You can email me. You can have your parents send me a dojo message, or you can call the school. There's plenty of ways that you can get in contact with me. Have a good day.